Hi. Hi, Andy. Yeah, I'm Daphne. Yeah, I'm Daphne from Shanghai. Hi. Good morning.
Hello there. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, but
Good.
today Taiwan is a little bit cold. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
very cold here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, there's ice. We have ice here this morning. A little bit of ice for the first time.
Yeah. Okay, so we can start the seminar from 1 minute later. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, because we told students, yeah, they can just
sure.
access the link. Mm-hmm. 现在几点？7点。我们今天多少个？14个。Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we can just talk. Then I can speak in Chinese to students first. 请问一下你们大家如果说觉得今天Andy 老师教的，然后告诉你们说如果说如何准备作品集，然后有任何的问题，或者说是随时有什么样子的疑问，都可以问我们哈。所以你们就不要说害羞，因为现在老师现在有在线上，所以等一下老师要是讲解完了之后，你们有任何的问题，记得要提出来，这样子好不好？我们可能等个1-2分钟一下，因为可能有些学生还没有上线，然后只是你们可能你们可以把你们的 video 的那个视讯可以打开，但是可能需要麻烦你们先关掉你们的麦克风，等老师讲解完了之后，如果说你们有任何的问题，你们可以打开你们的麦克风，然后可以直接跟老师这样子对话，好不好？所以可能要麻烦你们大家先关麦克风，拜托一下 ，close your microphone, please. Okay, Andy, we can start right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Daphne. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name's Andy Malone. I work at the University for the Creative Arts in the UK, and my job is I am the academic recruitment manager, which means that my job is talking to future students about courses and portfolios and giving advice about their futures and how to prepare themselves. So it's really nice to be here. And I'm going to run a PowerPoint, which is about building a portfolio and presenting your ideas to a future course. So I'm going to run through the presentation and leave plenty of time at the end if you have any questions. I don't know how you want to do that, Daphne. Do we do those in the chat, or is that the best way to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
After your presentation, so maybe we can. I have already asked them. They can just speak out, and then they can play microphone.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if anyone's got any questions, please ask. It's a very informal session, and I'd like to speak to you and get some questions back from you. So I'm just going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. It's just loading. Okay. So can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay. So so this is our lead slide. So yes, I'm from the University for the Creative Arts, which is located in the southeast of England. To the south and west of London, we have 3 campuses plus a satellite campus, and I'm going to talk about portfolios for courses across those campuses. So I'm going to talk about how to organize your portfolio. Times have changed. Most of you will be submitting a digital portfolio to your universities that you're choosing to apply to. So I'm going to talk about how to organize that, what to include in your portfolio. I'm going to try and do some myth busting about the kind of things that we want to see and try and give you some subject specific advice. So you might have courses that you're interested in. You might still be quite general in what you're thinking about, but I'm going to give you some things to start thinking about to make your portfolio specific to the courses that you're looking at. And then I'm going to give you some advice, general advice about applying, presenting yourself, and what we like to see. So the first thing I would say, it sounds very obvious, but your portfolio is unique to you. It's very important for us that your portfolio reflects your personality. So if your portfolio is funny or dark or political or colorful, we want that to shine through in your portfolio. It's really, really important. A lot of people want a formula for putting together a portfolio, and there are certainly lots of things that we want to see, but there are also, we like to be surprised by what you present us with. We want to see your personality shining through in your portfolio. It's really, really important. And everyone has their own idea of what creativity looks like. And when we get portfolios, we really like to see things that we've never seen before, or things that make us ask questions, or things that make us think. That's what we're really interested in. So our creative courses are, I'm going to go talk about them in a minute, but they're a real wide range of courses. They are very technical courses that you learn lots of technical things, but actually our courses are as much about ideas and concepts as they are about technical things, which is why it's important that your personality, your ideas shine through in your portfolio. So the next slide is a 3-minute video just to give you an idea of where I'm speaking to you from. You're the other side of the world, so it's really important that I paint a picture of our environment. So the next 3-minute clip is from last June. It's our graduating students. So at the end of our courses, our students have a showcase of their work, whether that's an exhibition or a performance or a fashion show. So I'm just going to put on this 3-minute clip just to give you an idea of where I am now.
Andy, we don't see the video.
Apologies, you can't see the video?
No video, no.
Oh
no,
dear, I'm sorry about that.
No.
I do apologize. It's showing on my screen, but not yours. I don't know why that is. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next one. I do apologize. Sorry about that. I don't know why. It's showing at my end, but not your end. Can you see a green slide saying organizing your portfolio?
Oh, but someone can see the video. Okay.
Some can see.
你们大家可以看到 video 吗？
看不到。
啊，看得到吗？
可以
哈。Okay. Yeah, some students. Okay. Students say they can see it, but only
okay.
I can't see. Okay, so you just play it. Yeah, you can just
okay,
play
I'll go back and play it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try again. Okay, so that was a range of students across our campuses. So we saw architecture, acting, fine art, lots of fashion, textile students, business, creative business students showcasing their work at the end of their course. So that's at the end of their course. We're at the other end. So I'm just going to talk to you now about organizing a portfolio for an art and design application. So what to include? So we like to see, we recommend between 12 and 20 digital images in a digital portfolio that you submit to us. And I'll give you some examples of those in a minute. Doesn't sound like very many, 12 to 20. So it's really important that those images really show a range of work. So those images are likely to come from a number of projects, 1, 2, 3 projects. Some of our courses, so for example, media, performing arts, music and sound production courses will require a show reel or audition. And I'll talk about those in a minute, a 2 or 3 minute show reel or audition. We suggest that the first and last image in your digital portfolio is something that really shouts out to us about the course that you're applying to. One of your best pieces of work, one of your strongest pieces of work. The first impressions are very, very important, and so the last ones as we go through. So how you organize and how you order your portfolio is really important. It's how we're likely to remember your portfolio. So think very carefully about what you show us first and what you show us last. So the work that you include is likely to be recent work, which is the work you're likely to be most proud of. It's the most current work. And that's going to show us the artist that you are now and what the future holds for you. When you're submitting a digital portfolio, in some cases we'll speak to you online, but in other cases we'll have staff looking at your portfolio without you there, without you either on screen or in the room. So it's really important that you put some annotation, some words, just to give us some indication of what you're showing us. And I'm going to give you some examples of that in a minute. We don't need an essay on each piece of work, but just some keywords, titles, the scale of the work, the stage of the project can be really useful just to help us understand what we're looking at. We really like to be taken on a journey in a portfolio. This is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you this morning, I think, is the journey that you're on. And by that, I mean we don't want to just see finished, polished pieces of work. We want to see all the different stages of a project. So that might mean initial drawings or models, it might be research, it might be sketchbooks, it might be worksheets, it might be you working things out and planning things. And I'm going to show you some examples of that in a minute. So don't just concentrate on glossy finished pieces of work. We want to see all stages of the project. And the reason for that is that it shows us how you're thinking, how you're developing an idea, and how you're seeing the design process through from the seed of an idea at the beginning to a finished piece. That journey for us is really, really important because it shows us how you will be able to work with us in our studio environment. Presentation is really important. It can be as important as the work itself, and you need to think very carefully about how you present your ideas. And as I keep saying, I've got some examples of that in a minute. So, for example, if you're a graphic designer, we would expect the way you present your work to reflect your interest in graphic design and image and text and communication. So this is an example of a student who applied to one of our fashion courses last year. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about take us on a journey. So this would be one of your 12 to 20 images that you would submit. Some of the later images or some of the images in your portfolio might be finished garments or details of textiles to show us that aspect of what you're doing. But this is what we're also really interested in. So if you look at this image, I can see some inspiration. I can see a mood board. I can see a brainstorm. I can see some drawing. I can see some digital manipulation. I can see some 3D making. I can see a student there who is connecting ideas and working their way through a project from a starting point and experimenting and testing out ideas. So that would be one of your 12 to 20 images. And already on that one image, I can see a student who is really on fire, who is really experimenting, connecting ideas and trying things out. And the next image they submitted would be this one. That's another one of your 12 to 20 images. So here I can see some beautiful drawing. I can see that drawing taken into color and silhouette. I can see some technical experimentation up there, student experimenting with printmaking. And then further down, I can see some two-dimensional textile samples, textiles ideas taken into three-dimensional textile samples. I can also see annotation on there. I talked about annotation just now. So a little bit of information about the project title. There's words like design, development, final result, little bit of text on there just to give us some clues as to what we're looking at and what stage of the project it is. So those two slides, I think, show the journey that I'm talking about. That first idea through drawing, developing it through color, developing it through different processes, different techniques to move the idea on. That's what we're really interested in. So what should you include in your portfolio? It very much depends on you as an individual. We, as I said right at the beginning, we want your portfolio to reflect your personality. And it also depends what course you're applying for. And I've got some subject-specific advice coming up, but there are some things that we really like to see. And one of those is drawing. So I'm talking about drawing in the widest possible sense of the word. So drawing could be analog drawing, it could be digital drawing. It's not just observational drawing. We see drawing as the place where an idea first comes out of your head onto a piece of paper or onto a screen. So it's really about starting an idea and developing an idea. So it's about development of ideas, might include life drawing or observational drawing, might involve technical illustrations, fashion illustrations, storyboarding, comic pages or sketchbook pages. So drawing in the widest possible sense, it's about ideas hitting the page, and then they can be developed from there. You might well be submitting digital work. So that might be a show reel or audio files, again, depending what kind of course you're applying for. We suggest they're up to about 2 or 3 minutes in length. You can include animations, digital drawings and sketches, blogs, vlogs and websites. You have to include all of these things. These are just examples. Short films, clips and edits, audio files, audition tapes, show reels and voice reels. All of those things are valid for some of the courses that we offer at UCA. We're really keen that you demonstrate your research in your portfolio. So as well as your creative skills, we want to see that you understand the historical and current contextual understanding of your subject. So by that, I'm talking about artists and designers. You might look at prize winners. So if you're applying for architecture, you might look at architectural projects that have recently won prizes. Same within fine art or photography or makeup or acting. We're very keen that you evidence that you know about the industry or the area that you're moving into. So that might be information about an artist or a designer. It might be a little project like this one, which is looking at what's happening out in the world, and we then know that you're looking around you in a way that is going to inform your own work. It's also something you can write about on your application form, whose work you're looking at, why you like it, how it's influencing your own work. It's really very important for us to find that out. We really like to see sketchbooks, whether they're physical sketchbooks or digital sketchbooks. So sketchbooks we like because, again, they're a bit like drawing. They are the first place where ideas appear. They can often mix up research and practical experimentation. It shows us the design process that I was talking about earlier. It shows us how you develop an idea. So you might, if you are putting together a number of images, digital images, you might collage maybe 6 or 8 sketchbook pages onto a single image to show us how you're developing an idea through time. That's really interesting for us to see that, as well as the finished piece of work that you've put all those hours into. We don't mind seeing work that's half finished. If you've got work that's not quite resolved yet, that's absolutely fine. You are young artists on a course at the moment, so we don't mind seeing mistakes. We don't mind seeing work that's still being developed. All of that we absolutely expect to see at the stage that you're at. So I'm going to move on to some subject-specific advice. What I would say before I go into this section is that we don't expect our future students to arrive as fully formed architects or graphic designers or fashion designers. We are very much looking for potential. So we're interested in seeing a range of art and design skills for any of our courses. They don't have to be specific to the area that you're applying for, but we want to see some evidence that you are making the right decision about the course that you're applying for. So I'm going to go through some categories of courses that we offer and give you some advice. So we have courses in film and TV production. So we have the students that come onto those courses come from a range of starting points and backgrounds. Some of them might have already made films or worked with moving image. Others might be coming from much more of a written or costume or theatre background. So you certainly don't have to include all of these things, but film and TV production courses are about storytelling and narrative. They're about telling stories, communicating stories. So we're really interested in seeing things like storyboards, maybe screenplays and scripts if you're writing, any clips of original films, animations, or recordings, mixed media, multimedia work. You might have some written research. You might have written film reviews or TV reviews. You might have been involved in in a theatre production. So you might have some set or costume designs. You might have photographs of a set that you've worked on or designed. You might have made some costumes. You might show us some character profiles, how you profile characters, how you develop characters through profiling. We are interested in evidence of editing, and any YouTube, Vimeo, or personal website where you might have information to show us. If you are giving us a link to something like a YouTube channel or a website, just make sure that that link works. We sometimes get links through where a password protected, or the link is corrupted, or it has a time limit on it. So whatever you're sending it to us, make sure it works so that we can access it and see what you're showing us. So if you're thinking about fashion and textiles, we don't expect you to have made hundreds of garments already. You might be quite specialist, but we're interested in a range of skills. They might be fashion drawings, pattern drawings. They might be digital designs, any evidence of sewing or fashion projects, but any evidence of colour and materials investigation, whether that's through paint or materials or fabric. We're interested in students that are interested in materials and how they work. We're interested in the design process that I keep talking about, so how you develop an idea from the seed of an idea through a series of stages and experiments and processes to a final outcome. And any evidence of three-dimensional thinking. Fashion is a very three-dimensional subject, so we're very interested in pattern cutting, textiles work, but equally anything like sculpture that you've made that shows us that you can think and work three-dimensionally is important. Photography, we have a photography course at our Farnham campus, but we also have a specialist fashion photography course at our Epsom campus. So that portfolio for either of those courses is obviously going to be photography based. But again, same with other subjects, we're interested in the design process. So not just the finished pieces of the finished photographs. So you might include screenshots of the editing process to show us the kind of software that you're using and the kind of decisions that you're making. Any evidence of digital manipulation to show us those skills. Again, those courses might include storyboards, fashion magazines, spreads, maybe examples of design where you've incorporated collage or graphics might be relevant to that work. But that is going to be largely a photography, digital based portfolio. But if you've got other interests that are coming in about, around your photography, what are you interested in photographing and why, that is really important to evidence. So for fine art, we have a body art course, we have graphic design and illustration. We're interested in a real range of skills for those courses. So that might be observational, technical drawing, might be very experimental work. It might be using type and image, so words and image to tell a story or communicate a message. We're interested in graphic design, illustration work. That might be analog or digital or a combination of both. It depends. People often ask whether we prefer analog or digital work. It very much depends on what you want to present us with. We're very interested in where you're coming from. We're interested in design for print and screen. And again, if you've got any specialist interests in that area, any particular style or medium or material or format or subject matter, please evidence that in your portfolio. We have an acting course at Farnham that doesn't require a portfolio, but it does require an audition. We can do that online. Or our auditions at UCA, we require 2 monologues from published works, one from an Elizabethan or Jacobean play, and another one from a 20th or 21st century play or character. And we ask you to choose a character who is similar to you, somebody that you relate to, an individual that you relate to, or a story that you relate to, which is always really interesting to see what people choose. So some advice there about online auditions. Make sure the sound is clear, quiet space with no background noise, and make sure that you've learnt the monologue before. We don't want people reading. Obviously, you can refer to a piece of paper, but we don't want someone that's just reading off a piece of paper. We want someone who's speaking to camera. So that's our acting course. We have courses in fashion, imaging and styling, makeup and hair design. Those courses require portfolios that include things like, obviously, evidence of photography, styling, original compositions, maybe image and text, fashion shoots. So they will involve makeup, lighting, clothing, all sorts of things that you're going to orchestrate, market research, interviews, and potentially videos. So sometimes for these courses, a student might show us something like an Instagram account where they've curated all of their fashion photography or makeup and hair design images. That's absolutely fine. If you want to send us a link to a social media platform, you can do that within a digital portfolio, but please be very careful with those kinds of platforms. Only send us things that are have got your art and design work in, none of your personal images or information in there. It's really important that they're really carefully curated so that we can see your work that way. But it's something we're seeing increasingly, students sending us images too. We have a course, music and sound production. Again, that's not a portfolio in the same way. It's up to 5 minutes of original composed or self-produced music or sound design. It might be a video of a performance, might be a self-composed music or sound design for a short film, scene or game. So this course sits alongside a lot of our games courses who need music and sound for their work. So we're very interested in students who are thinking about music and sound in the widest possible context. You might send us a mix or a remix of something in your own style, and you need to be prepared to talk about your interest in music and sound design and your technical processes. We're very interested in where you are technically and what we can give you from our end. Animation, comic and concept art and games courses. These are our most popular courses at the moment at our Farnham campus. So these courses are very much about storytelling and narrative. So we're very interested in how you evidence storytelling and narrative. So that might be through composition, might be through sequencing, storyboarding. You might be writing scripts or submitting creative writing. We're very interested in digital skills, illustration skills and concept art, but they are about storytelling, they're about characters, and potentially those students will include sound as well. Very much depends about where you're coming from, what your starting point is. But these are very, very popular courses, and these are just some indicators of what you might include in a portfolio. Right, coming to the end now, and we'll have some time for questions. So our architecture, product design and interior design courses, they're at our Canterbury campus where I am. So these courses, we want students to evidence spatial awareness and three-dimensional thinking. So that might be through sculptures, might be through models, it might be through digital models, might include observational drawings, life drawings of buildings or man-made structures or natural forms. You might include photography. You might include digital skills to show your interest in those areas. So I'm going to give you some general advice now, a few slides about advice just to have in the back of your mind as you're starting to put together a portfolio. So the 5 key elements we want to see in any portfolio, whichever course you're applying for. One is your personality. We want to get an essence of your interests, skills and goals. We're really interested in people coming onto our courses with strong ideas and able to share those ideas. So your personality needs to shine through in your portfolio. Everybody's portfolio should be different. Everybody's portfolio should really reflect who they are and what stage they're at and what their interests are. The second key thing we want to see is experimentation. So we like to see different styles. We like to see you working in different mediums and formats and materials. Maybe things that we wouldn't expect you to use. We're always interested in students who are trying out new things or mixing up materials to make something new and exciting happen. And if those things are experimental and mistakes are being made or they're not quite complete, we're really happy to see that. We want students who are taking risks and not just going for safe results. And again, as I said, we're not looking for perfect artists, we're looking for potential. So that's where the journey comes in. We can really see how you're working through that journey. Influences we've talked about, so who and what influences and inspires your work. So that might be artists and designers, it might be films, it might be books, it might be locations, it might be places that you've visited, might be all sorts of different things. Research, show us you've done research to inform your projects so that they're well informed. A few more tips. Don't forget to annotate. We need some words alongside visual images to show us what you're showing us, to explain what you're showing us. You can include work that you don't make in school or college. Most of the work I imagine that you will submit will be made on the course that you're studying now, but you might be making things independently outside of college as well. We're really interested in seeing those. Don't underestimate the things that you do independently, whether that's acting or making music, or you might have an Etsy shop, or you might take photographs, you might sell work. There's all sorts of things that you might be doing outside of college that we'd be really, really interested in hearing about. Get as much advice as you can, speak to your teachers, get as much advice as you can, get opinions from friends and family who have maybe studied before, get as much advice as possible, talk to as many people as you can on open days or online talks like this one, and I'm going to give you some links to some more in a minute, and make sure that you're on track for deadlines and guidelines. So we've got a few open days. These are QR codes, one to our open days, one to our somewhere where you can talk to our students. I'll leave those up for a couple of minutes. So if you want to talk to a student who's already on the course that you're thinking about, you can use that QR code to make a connection. We have something called UCA Live. I'm running one tomorrow, Wednesday, which is about UCAS personal statements, how to write a personal statement. So that QR code gives you a link to all of the online live sessions that we deliver on a whole range of subjects around life at a specialist art and design university like UCA. And there we go. That's my last slide. Thank you very much for listening. There's a QR code. We can send you some free patches designed by our UCA students. If you want to get any of those, you can use that link there. And in a second, I shall unshare my screen and we can see if we have any questions. Okay.
Okay, yeah, very, very, very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Andy, can you just email this PowerPoint to me? And then
Yes, of course.
Later on,
yes, of course.
Probably if students, they want to know more, so I can just share it to them. Okay.
Yeah, of course. I'll send that through. Yeah, I'll send that through to you.
Okay, thank you. 好，请问一下你们其他的同学，今天 Andy 有讲解了很多很详细的有关于每个科系不同的科系，然后他要如何的去做一些他的那些作品集，然后你们有没有什么样子一个问题可以赶快问他？他因为毕竟他是属于有关于那种招生方面的经理，所以他对这个academic 这方面是非常的熟悉，所以你们可以稍微的问他。有没有人想要有问题问的？可以把你们最近就是在做的作品集里面，你们碰到的一些问题，有没有想问的？
Okay, so there's a question there about the MA curating program. Yeah, I can. Yes, we would want a portfolio for that that course. My advice with a master's course is that sometimes students change direction when they go into a master's. So I don't know what you've studied previously, but if you're looking to go into curating, then we would want your personal statement and your portfolio to show your interest in exhibition design and bringing artists together, and information design. Depends what aspect you're coming, what direction you're coming from. But yes, we would want to see some images and some writing to show that you're interested in that area, and whether it's something that you've already had experience of, or whether it's something that is a new area to you, and just to make sure that you're making a good decision about that. So what course did you study before, the student who's asking that question?
Oh, I'm studying in theater arts and I'm majoring in stage management.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, that would be a really good starting point. So yeah, we'd just be really interested in why you're interested in going from that course to a curating program and what you hope to get out of it. And again, it's that element of research and what you're interested in about curating, and what you've seen that you think is exciting, what ideas you've got about curating. We'd be really interested in. So MA students come with previous experience, and we're just really interested in what you can bring to the course from your previous studies. So there isn't a formula for that. A curating program brings together a whole lot of students to to make things happen, to make events happen, whether that's exhibitions or interactive design or whatever it might be. So yes, it's a program that is going to get you working as part of a team. So we want evidence that you were interested in working as a team. Yeah, so I would just talk about that jump from what you've studied to what you want to study and what you want to get out of your next course. And the portfolio can be quite broad. We'd be really interested in seeing evidence of what you've made before, but also evidence of what you things that you've seen that you think are really successful or really exciting in that area.
So in my portfolio, I can contain some writing samples about like exhibitions or stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be great. Some exhibition reviews will be very good to show that you've got an opinion on what you're looking at and why it's successful or why it's not successful. Yeah, we want people coming with ideas around that. So yeah, exhibition reviews would be good. Pieces of writing about things that you've visited or taken part in will be just as important as images of work that you've made in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Look, any more? I can recommend for the portfolio for transport design or automotive design. Yeah, our automotive design course at UCA has been brought in as a pathway within our product design course. So we'd be really interested in technical drawings for that, any model making, any digital skills that you've got. We're obviously very interested in three-dimensional thinking, whether that's actual models or through drawing. Again, the design process is really important for that. So where an idea starts, how you develop it. We'd also be interested again in the research side of it. So what are you looking at in transport design, in automotive design? What's innovative? So that course is a real balance between creativity and engineering and technical skills. So we'd be really interested in where you fit in. Some of our students on that course are very, very creative. Others are very, very technical. Others have a really good balance of those skills. We're really interested in students from both sides, technical and creative. But we're interested in innovative design. We're interested in drawing. We're interested in model making, technical skills, digital skills. We've got wonderful workshops at UCA. We'd be really interested. We'd really want you to, be able to take part in using those. So, yeah, I don't know what you're studying at the moment, but if you're doing technical drawings, if you're doing three-dimensional drawings, if you're making models, if you're working digitally, we'd be interested in all of that plus the research side. You're welcome. But again, like I said, I kept saying through the talk, we don't expect all of your work for a transport design course to be drawings of cars and buses. We're interested in other skills as well, whether you're good with color or whether you're good with observational drawing or whatever it might be that you can bring to the course. We're looking for students to come onto a course with a range of skills, not just very, very specialist skills. So the next question is, do you have any advice for applying for animation portfolio? I studied landscape design. So animation, we're interested in, landscape design is potentially really relevant for animation because characters have to inhabit a landscape or an environment, whether that's an urban environment or wherever it might be. So we're really interested in the spaces that characters inhabit and move through. So we're interested in digital skills, but we're also interested in drawing. We're interested in character design. We're interested in storytelling. So that might be storyboarding, like a comic strip, series of images that show a narrative or a story unfolding across a piece of paper. But there are probably things, oops.
No, it's okay. Yeah, because I'm asking them if they have any questions about further questions. Okay, so we have one more question.
Sure.
One student, she's asking. She wants to ask about the differences between a portfolio for academic purposes and a portfolio for job applications. Okay,
Yes,
yes. So
that's a really good question. Essentially, my advice is to have all of your images available. Yes, it's likely to be different. If you're applying for a job, you are likely to be applying for something that has what is requiring quite specific skills. The portfolios I've been talking to are for an educational context, so that's why I've talked about research and ideas. A portfolio for a more practical outcome like a job or an apprenticeship or something like that, you're better to showcase your skills and your finished pieces of work probably more than the journey that I've described for educational purposes. I don't know what you're applying for, but if you're applying for a job, it's likely to be a more polished, finished professional portfolio. And our art of design education one, we're really happy to look at risks and mistakes and things that aren't quite resolved yet. But for a more professional context, you would put more of a focus on presentation, finished pieces to show that you can take something through to a final professional outcome, I would say, would be my advice.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Andy, I have one more question.
Yes.
Well, because right now a lot of students, they hope they can have some internship in UK. So as I know, UCA is one practical university in UK. So do you have a lot of industry links? And then so your career office can help students to have a link to the industry after they graduate.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two ways of looking at this. So all of our degree courses are, except for architecture, which is much longer, all of our degree courses are 3 years long. At UCA, you have the option of doing a 4-year degree course with a professional practice year that falls between year 2 and year 3. So you spend a year in industry. We have a dedicated team, careers team, who help you find that placement. It's optional. About 10% of our students will do a professional practice year, and they can be really successful. So for example, we have a fashion student who did a professional practice year with an accessories company in Milan, in Italy, and she has now been offered a full-time job at this company when she graduates. So it's a really, really good way of making industry connections. If you decide not to do a professional practice year, we still have plenty of industry links. So some of our projects are delivered by industry. So whether that's through animation or product design or automotive design, we have professional companies delivering project briefs to our students. For example, our TV production course, that takes place live on television sets at Maidstone TV studios, so you're working in a professional context. But all of our courses will have that, whether it's fine art, giving you opportunities to exhibit outside of the university, or an animation brief, or our acting students work with the Royal Shakespeare Company and the British Film Institute. So all of our courses, yes, are very, very well connected. And if you want to find out more about those opportunities and those connections, if you go onto the web page for any of our courses, there will be information about those industry links and those industry placements that will be more specific than I can give here. But yes, have a look on the web page for any of our courses you're interested in, and there'll be information about those connections.
Yeah, because right now, yeah, in UK, the government will give students 18 months post PSW, yeah, post-study work. So if you want to go to UCA to study, so you will have 18 months to stay in UK to work after you graduate from UCA. So it is a good opportunity to stay in UK without any work permit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you So yes, it is very good chance. Yeah, for everyone.
Yeah, there is. We have a team on each campus. Each of our campuses has dedicated careers teams and professional practice teams to help you with all of those aspects of your, both during your course and after your course.
Yeah. 好，请问一下大家还有什么问题吗？因为只剩下大概5分钟，有没有什么任何的问题哦？赶快哦 ，Andy 老师又回来了，又回来 link， 所以赶快。有没有人要打开麦克风的？可以直接问问题。Yeah, I think okay. I think yeah, students, yeah, maybe it's enough today. Because yeah, I have already left my email address to them. So if they have any further question, yeah, they can just email to me so I can pass questions to you. Okay, Andy.
Yes, please do that. Yes, that would be perfect. And if you'd like me to join you again later in the application cycle, please let me come and speak to you again.
Okay, yeah, thank you. 好，谢谢大家呀 ，Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye bye, everyone. 好，下线喽。